Welcome to episode 13. Lucky
13.
number 13.
And there's only two of us this week.
Only two of us. Kitty is on a much needed family vacation. And so it's just the two of us this week, but she is going to do the political tarot. It will just be on our socials. So check out TikTok, Substack for the political tarot this week, which I believe she's going to do on the bill. We shall see. I believe that's what she's going to do it on. But you'll just have to listen to Devin and I yap this week.
Yeah, and there's plenty. There
Yes.
is plenty. This feels like this was 3 months ago, but it was only about 8 days ago with
Not
the
even. I
Iran
think it was like
bombing.
6.
Yeah. Well, this particular day was last Monday, where there was a ceasefire between Israel and Iran. The ceasefire wasn't real. There was no ceasefire. There was no ceasefire. Israel has broken 962 ceasefires. Don't know why this would be the time that they would actually agree to a ceasefire, even though there wasn't any actual ceasefire. Iran said they never received anything. They didn't receive the ceasefire. Israel didn't call them and say, we're going to stop bombing each other. Didn't happen. What I think happened was Netanyahu called him up, said, hey, man, we're not bombing them right now. Trump said, nice. Hey, everyone. Israel and Iran agreed to a ceasefire. I'm going to post it on Truth Social. We need to put out a press release. We need to tell everyone, I got a big win. I did it. I stopped the war in Iran in less than 12 hours. And then Israel shot off more rockets like 4 hours later. And then Trump
Yep.
hopped on Truth Social and was like, BB, stop. Please stop bombing them. This is terrible. You need to stop. Same way he did with Putin. Putin, stop. Stop the violence. So that happened. That was very funny. We got to make fun of him again for failing at brokering another deal, looking foolish, as he always did. And then he hopped on. It was Fox. They were asking him about the conflict as he was about to get on a helicopter, I think it was. And he said, there's two countries that have been fighting so long and hard, they just don't know what the fuck they're doing. And everybody clutched their pearls and said, a president said the word fuck. As if this is the person that they're shocked said the word fuck. This is the person, I can't believe he said fuck. You can't? I'm shocked it took this long. I'm shocked he held it in for like 10
Yeah.
years. I was like,
This
I'm
is
almost
active
impressed.
sundowning in our eyes. Of course, the man's going to do that. But it's very funny that on Fox News, they didn't really care about that. They said it's actually just showing that he's passionate. And so somebody put together all the times that Democrats swore, and Fox News was like, that's so unprofessional. I hate it. Laura Ingram's like crashing out. And then they played Trump doing it, and they're like, he's just a powerful man. He's showing that he means business. And it's like,
Okay.
okay. Okay.
You got it. You got it. Not even to argue anymore. You guys got it. Whatever you say he is, that's what he is. Okay. Big strong man, big boy. He makes all the best deals. He's your man. Okay? And you're gonna stick by him.
Daddy's home.
Oh my god. And then the NATO secretary called him daddy. Y'all are weird.
It's
I'm
too
gonna keep
much.
saying it. Everybody is not well right now. Everybody's not well mentally. And
Everybody's got to go.
everybody's gotta go. Everybody's not doing too hot right now. This is that's not an over exaggeration.
It's just the like leading into the next segment is just like them, the White House, the official White House posting Usher's daddy's home over him going to the NATO summit while we have people in concentration camps that are dying is absolutely insane to me. And yes, that is what is happening. We've got the ice update for you guys coming in hot because we talked about it a bit last week, the conditions of certain, we're calling them concentration camps because that's what they are, but they're called detention centers. We talked about two, one in California and one in Texas. And now, because that happened, even more is coming out. We are hearing horror stories that mothers who were pregnant in detention centers are losing their pregnancies because of the stress that's being put on their bodies, the medications that they are not being given, and medications that they are being given without telling them what the medication is. Children are starving. And this week, we found out in Florida that a 49-year-old Canadian died while in custody. He was a permanent resident. His name is Johnny Noviello. He lived in the U.S. since 1991, and he was picked up by ICE last month, serving a 1-year sentence in Florida for racketeering and drug charges. And in, like, I think it was last week, they found him unresponsive in a cell, pronounced him dead within the hour. And Canada is like, we need answers as to what happened. And they said that they tried to give him appropriate medical care, but he died. And that was it. That was all the information they could give. And obviously, no internal reviews, nothing like that. And this will mark the 9th death confirmed that we know about in ICE custody this year. And out of the 9, 4 have happened in Florida.
They're averaging more than one a month.
And those are just ones we know about. Again, because of public pressure and people finding it out and getting it to people like us to push it out. There are so many that we are never going to know about. So, next we have a very much respected journalist, Mario Guevara. I'm sorry if I'm butchering his last name. He went out and covered the No King's Day protests in Atlanta, because it's his right to do so. He is a reporter. He is a journalist. That is what they do. He's been reporting in the U.S. for nearly 2 decades. He has legal work authorization, a pending green card, and a son who is a U.S. citizen. And again, he's been here for nearly 20 years and has given 20 years of contributions to Spanish media. He's sitting in a detention center right now in Georgia because he filmed the protests. Police arrested him for trespassing and obstruction. Both are minor misdemeanors. And then handed him to ICE. And the only thing that's happened is that they dropped the charges because they didn't have any evidence, like most cases, but still left him in ICE custody. It's the same with like Jimena when they dropped the charges because they wrongfully pulled her over. They pulled over the wrong car and they dropped the charges, but they kept her in the in ICE custody in the detention center. That's what's happening here. So they're saying, oh yeah, you actually didn't trespass and there wasn't any obstruction. You were well within your legal rights to film a protest, but we already handed you over to ICE. So, but they did something a little bit better. They said, we'll give you a bond so you can bond out while you wait for your hearing. We gave him that.
It's fine.
But he is still facing possible deportation for filming a protest. And you see, that's what they're doing. They're arresting you for things they know you didn't do, then giving you to ICE, and then they'll drop the charges, but say, I already handed over the authority to ICE, so I'll drop my charges, but then my hands are clean.
Sorry.
That's what they're doing now. That's the new level of fear mongering. Is like, we could just get arrested for whatever I think you did. Doesn't matter as long as it lands you in a detention center. Then I can just drop the charges. I get off with nothing as the police officer. That's what they're doing now.
Yep.
And because of all of this, last week we told you that a judge ruled that Kilmar should be released and be able to go home to his family awaiting his trial. Well, Kilmar has come out and said, I'll stay here in custody. Why? Because he has fears of being detained by ICE again. Because, like we said, they were waiting for his release so that they could detain him again. So, what's the point? And they were trying to figure out legal pathways to get him home. And I'm wondering if he was just like, you know what? Maybe I should just stay here and we shouldn't go through all of this to try to get me home, because no matter what, at the end of the day, they are crazy and they will find a way. And that's insane that this man is choosing to remain in a detention center where we know the conditions are terrible, just so that he does not end up back in ICE custody and face even worse treatment because they know who he is this time around.
They're just targeting this guy. Like, this is crazy. He didn't even do anything.
So, I mean, we are very much fast approaching. I believe it's July 12th or July 16th is his next court appearance. So 2 weeks. Still, legally, he should be released. A judge said he could be released. But he doesn't even want that because he's terrified of what would happen to him the second he gets out. It's absolutely
They're stalking him.
Wild.
They're stalking him.
Mm-hmm. And if you didn't think that was wild, this week, the Supreme Court gave the green light for the government to deport migrants to countries they've never been to. So we talked about it last month, that they were deporting people. They were trying to deport people, I believe, to El Salvador that were Venezuelan.
Yeah.
And judges were trying to block it before it happened. They had like a bus, and they just packed this bus full of Venezuelans, and they were trying to get them to El Salvador around the same time as the Kilmar incident. And they attempted to stop them from getting on the plane. Well, now that has been given the green light. More of this to happen. Green light from the Supreme Court that they can deport migrants to countries they've never been to without a hearing, without notice, and without any chance to prove that they'll, face harm and torture in the places they're going. Because we know what happened when they go to El Salvador and they end up in CICOT. So, obviously, this ruling just completely tramples the Fifth Amendment. Again, we know the Constitution is black and white. It doesn't say every U.S. citizen, permanent resident, lawful resident gets due process. It says any person on U.S. soil. Any person on U.S. soil. So that type of ruling completely tramples the Fifth Amendment. But it also, we're getting into international and foreign issues, because we have international treaties that the U.S. has signed. The Convention Against Torture, which forbids sending anyone to a country where they would be at risk for being tortured, which is what they were trying to say for Kilmar, because he was sent to CICOT. And anyone being sent to CICOT, what's happening to them. So those two are big at play. We have the Constitution being violated and international treaties that we signed. But the Supreme Court is, as a majority, has prioritized executive power over constitutional rights. And we know this. We're going to talk about more things the Supreme Court did this week. But at the end of the day, the House, the Senate, and the Supreme Court have a MAGA agenda right now. We know all of these things are unconstitutional. We know that they go against policies here and now foreign policies. They don't care. They don't. Nobody's coming to save you. The Supreme Court, Congress,
They're trying to get rid of the judiciary.
yes. And this is why we can't remain silent on things like this anymore, because it's happening in front of our eyeballs. And these are things like what Devin's about to talk about with the big, beautiful bill. These are things that we need to stay vigilant and informed on, because these are things they're going to try and do under the rug so that you don't see it. And unfortunately, they tried to do this, Supreme Court ruling and just kind of fly it under the radar. They won't know about it because we're going to rule on a lot of things this week, and hopefully that will just get buried. And we won't let them bury those things. Like we won't let them bury the big, beautiful bill, because they tried to do that quickly. It didn't work, and now it's been drug out for months because of the public scrutiny. That's why we have to remain informed, and we can't spiral. We have to be united in some way, shape, or form against this. So that's my ICE update for the week. I'm also going to talk about Alligator Alcatraz later, but I wanted to give you the main points from this week. Florida, of course, is always the fucking issue. Always the fucking issue.
As we are recording right now, the Senate floor is currently in debate over the big shitty bill, but Friday, this past Friday, so the Senate parliamentarian came in clutch, striking a whole lot of things out of this bill that was just gonna fuck us over. So she had taken out the social safety net cuts, so Medicaid, Medicare, SNAP. They have to get reworked or taken out. The selling of all the public land, that got taken out. The provision that they snuck in there that would essentially strip judges of their powers, she said, take that shit out. They reworked it and made it worse. Originally, the cuts were a total of $880 billion, and they put it to 900, like in the mid 900 billion. So, you can round it up to $1 trillion. They've rounded it up essentially to $1 trillion for fucking billionaire tax cuts, because they need that. So right now there are weak links. So Tom Tillis, he's currently on the floor ripping into the bill.
Oh, yeah.
He was saying that in 2 years, how's he going to tell 663,000 Americans that, Trump has broken his promise, and he's, kicking you off your Medicare, Medicaid. And weirdly enough, Tom Tillis also announced that he will not be running for re-election. Translation, they said, Tom, you're done here. You're not loyal to us. You did not bend the knee. You're not saying the things that we want you to say. So you're done here. You're tossed in the trash. So yeah, he's clearly one of the weak links right now. Ron Johnson, Mike Lee, Rick Scott, excuse me, they all don't like it. Suzanne Collins also. So right now we've been trying to just have people on TikTok just put out blasts saying to target these senators, call them up, because as it stands right now, they did the vote to proceed. That was yesterday on Saturday. They somehow read the whole thing already.
Yeah, it was their version of a filibuster where they were like, you need to read the entire thing out loud, and then we're going to debate.
Apparently they did that already somehow. That was supposed to take 15 hours. So now they're debating. That's supposed to take about 10 hours. So where it stands, we're probably going to see the final vote take place in the morning, probably after we upload this. So also during this whole kerfuffle, so Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, she was going to vote no to proceed, did a shady backroom deal, got a provision put into the bill saying, uh, essentially as exempting Alaska from all these social safety net cuts, which is absolutely insane to only look. I mean, it's not shocking from Republicans, but to see her do like, you know what? I'm going to focus on the people that are going to get me reelected. You guys are good.
Mm-hmm. Fuck all of
Whatever the
you
fuck
guys.
happens to you, I'm
Godspeed.
good. I got it. Senate parliamentarians saw that and said, nah, take that shit out. So now Lisa Murkowski may or may not be in the fence because she's not getting her quid pro quo. So this right here is exactly, this proves the allegations. This is exactly what we thought was happening when it comes to these votes with these people. It's, oh, why are they doing this? Why are they going against their, because, oh, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. This
Mm-hmm.
is it. So now that Lisa's back isn't getting scratched, it's going to be interesting to see if she actually falls in line or not. Because
Yeah.
that's obviously what's happening when every time we see this situation pop up with these, oh, I might not, I don't like it. Let's see. Hey, how can we grease your palms for you a little bit? What can we do for you? Oh, you don't want to get hit by these cuts? Put it in there. Give us your yes. You got that. So also somebody on TikTok actually had an excellent idea. So they looked up Lisa Murkowski's top donor. That is Trident Seafoods in Alaska. She said everybody hit the social medias of Trident Seafoods and tell them that they need to get behind Lisa and tell her to vote no on this bill. And people are in those comment sections. Vote all the way back to January. So they're already like, I haven't even checked anything other than TikTok. They're probably going crazy on them on Instagram and Twitter as well. So this is the type of energy we need. This is okay. Nobody's coming to save us. We got to get fucking crafty.
Mm-hmm.
Hit them in their pockets. These people only respond to green. I'm happy people are getting it. I'm happy that
Yes.
I hope we build off of this and are like, okay, we need to target this person. Where's their money coming from? How can we fuck that up?
Yes.
How can we throw a little? How can we shove a banana in that tailpipe?
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
I
And
love that.
that's where we have to get creative because we know we're good. We're the people on the internet that we see a video of somebody being racist and we find out where they live, their job, their mom, their dad, their cousin, and we go to their Facebook pages and we just tear it up. We tank the Google ratings of the place they work if they don't immediately respond. Take that and now use it because all of this information is public as to where these politicians are getting their money from, what they love, that use that if they love and they're getting paid by trying seafoods, then they should know about this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, you guys, we have a special skill as chronically online people, and that is that we are FBI agents and we can find out all the information. And I'm
Quickly.
just now thinking that this would be a great tactic for our chronically online folks to start looking into those people and seeing who is paying them and getting up their assholes tonight
For
and
every
tomorrow
single one.
and for the rest of this administration for whatever they try to do.
Forever. For anyone
Forever.
after.
Guys, the primaries are coming up. We made a video on it. It seems like it's far away. We're already halfway through this year. So these people are starting to look. We're seeing it with Marjorie big time. She got on her interview saying, I love Mexicans today with Tucker Carlson because
Crying.
they're realizing they're cooked. They're realizing that, oh, the approval ratings are tanking. And if approval ratings are tanking for Trump, that means they're tanking for all of us. We're all included. We're not going to get reelected. So we need to start pretending that we don't like the things he's doing. They're
Uh-huh.
not seeing the light. You guys are like, maybe they're seeing the light. No, they're not. They're saying, how do I get my booty back in that seat? Then I'm going to turn around and start screaming how much I love the Mexicans. I was in Mexico last week. That's what she said. She was like, I was in Mexico last week. I love it there. Such a
I was
great place.
crying. Wait, but she just couldn't help herself because then the next thing immediately was, oh, they have such great customer service. It's like,
Yeah.
girl, you said you loved them and immediately called them servants.
Yes. I mean, here's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing is they're not good at it because then they just put their foot in their mouth and it's like, see, no, you haven't changed. You just want your seat back. And you're going to see them all do it. The fact that Rick Scott, who loves corruption, who
He
loves stealing money,
sucks.
who loves watching people die, he doesn't like this bill? No. It's because he's watching what's happening in Florida and he's like, oh, that state cannot turn blue. It cannot. And I know that if this bill passes, the amount of people in Florida that will be affected because it's a retirement state, when the pendulum swings one way too far,
Ooh,
and so
baby.
he knows he's done if that happens. That's what you're going to see. So if you start being tactical and being creative and really start to lay into them when they're at their most vulnerable, you're going to start to see them all crack. And that's where the primaries are going to come in and it's just going to be like boom, 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 boom.
Hmm. And we're having midterms, people. Stop saying we're not having
Yeah,
midterms.
we're no.
It's
Yeah,
just they're held by the states. That has nothing to do with the federal government. The
no.
states hold the elections. So,
But speaking of Florida, we need to talk about what's going on in Florida. As somebody who is currently residing in Florida, there's a lot of shit happening here. But number one, Alligator Alcatraz. Florida is building a new detention facility, aka very much a concentration camp. If it is shaped like concentration camp and it looks like concentration camp, it is concentration camp. And it will be in the middle of the Everglades. So if you don't know, the Everglades in Florida, there's Miami on this side, Everglades on this side. And it's just swampland. It is swampland, and there is a airport that used to be a training base, and it's been deserted in the middle of nowhere. Training base, a little airport, and they are turning that into a detention center. It is surrounded by swampland, wildlife, and of course, because it's the Everglades, there's pythons and alligators. It will be able to hold around 1,000 people and is expected to open next month, July. They are doing this very fast. It was authorized under Governor DeSantis's emergency powers to support the federal government's deportation efforts. So obviously, it's been heavily criticized. Ever since they announced it, there has been a flock of people that drove all the way out to the Everglades and have been standing out there every day protesting because, yes, human rights groups, ACLU, are all criticizing the facility, organizing all the protests going on there. And it will prioritize punishment over processing. Absolutely. This is quite literally the reason it's opening so quickly, guys, if you didn't know, is because they're not building a detention center. They're just putting tents on the ground. They're not building
Tennessee.
anything. That's why it is happening so fast. It's hot as balls in Florida, so it raises human rights concerns. You're going to be in a tent in Florida on any given day in the summer. It's like 120 degrees, humid. No, it is not safe to be outside and in tents. The environmental impacts of doing this, and because you're supposed to be protecting those wetlands, and now we've got trucks of propane and gas and everything rolling through there. It's not good. And they are getting federal funding, FEMA. FEMA for Florida, but not for hurricanes. We're still recovering. Still recovering. We're back in hurricane season and we're still recovering from last hurricane season. And this one's going to be really bad. But yep, FEMA for Alligator Alcatraz. And Miami-Dade's mayor expresses all of the concerns because there's no transparency, because the mayor doesn't even know what's going on. That's fucking wild. And they are saying that they don't really need a lot of security measures because if people were to break out, that they would be handled by the wildlife.
This country turned medieval real fast.
Florida is going to be underwater. It's going to go back under fucking water. But Trump watched Escape from Alcatraz and said, ooh, I forgot about that. But I don't want California to have the Alcatraz anymore because I hate California because of Gavin trying to steal my wife. Who would make an Alcatraz? DeSantis would. He kisses my ass every day. He loves it, and he needs something to spin because he's under a lot of scrutiny from stealing all that money from charity and making sure weed isn't legal in Florida. So I'm going to let him have this one. Give him a little pat on the back. That's what this is. So it's happening really fast, and I don't believe, I'm not trying to fearmonger or like be a Debbie Downer. At this point, it's happening. It's not going to be stopped. It's not.
Nope.
So if you are in Florida, this is the time to really think about who is going to be on your tickets next year for primaries. Start looking at it. Start taking a gander because the state is on a pendulum going too far right as a swing state, way too far right, and it's going to have to swing back. A lot of people don't agree with me saying it's going to swing back, but if this bill passes and we have alligator fucking Alcatraz here, it's just too much for the state to handle. It's too much. Yep. And our hurricane season coming up, I just don't have a good feeling about Florida this year. And I'm here, and I don't have a good feeling about it. That's all I'm saying. Figure out who you're going to be voting for. Continue to call. Continue to protest outside the facility. It is packed. And the roads are really short leading up or slim. And people are lined. And it's not an easy place to get to. It's in the Everglades.
Yeah.
Well,
if you're looking at your primaries, Bernard Taylor, Florida, District 21, next year, grassroots candidate.
Everyone should be voting for him.
Okay. That's an order. This one, I want to keep this as short as possible because I'm not a doctor. And I shouldn't
take medical advice from Devin or RFK Jr.
Or RFK Jr. But so Martin Kurldorf, the new chair of the advisory committee on immunization practices, in the rise of measles that was an eradicated disease coming back, he is over here saying that the MMRV vaccine for measles is causing epileptic seizures, so we shouldn't be giving that vaccine. That's completely unfounded. It's not true. You shouldn't be listening to this person. If you want to get advice on vaccinations or anything health-wise for yourself or your children, please contact your own personal physician. Do not get medical advice from people off the internet. I don't know why I have to say this. This is absolutely crazy. People on the internet, even if they can put an MD or DR in their name and you would believe they're a doctor. Stop doing that. Stop taking medical advice from people off the internet. Go to your damn doctor. Like, okay, please go ask your doctor if you need to get boosted for measles. Okay, do not listen to these crackpots, especially not the ones in the government, because they are literally, this is eugenics that they are practicing. They're obviously not going to come out and say we're doing eugenics. They are practicing eugenics. It's in our face. They're masking under it on the guise of trying to protect people and saying this disease does this thing. Autism is a disease and it ruins families. Making up Trump derangement syndrome. Like, they are literally making up things so that they can block people away, put them in camps,
And make them
say I'm
work.
over exaggerating, but you got RFK talking about wellness farms. What the fuck does that sound like to you? It's not summer camp. There's not a fucking swing set. So they are practicing eugenics. Their fucking rhetoric is very dangerous, and people need to stop crowdsourcing their medical information from the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I got on measles. Um, Circling back to primaries, Zohran Mamdani has won the Democratic primary in New York City to be mayor of New York City. This is huge. We're going to see how this connects to Florida. But this is huge because the second this man won that primary, the Democrats and the Republicans absolutely lost their shit. The man didn't even win. He's not even mayor yet. Which, by the way they're acting, it sounds like he has it in the bag. But Marjorie
Yeah.
Taylor Greene is posting these offensive pictures of I don't know the name of the garment that Muslim women wear, but she had a picture of that
A hijab?
on, yes, a hijab on Twitter, the Statue of Liberty in one. They're the Democrats. They're getting interviewed about it. They're essentially just like, yeah, I guess he's okay. Like, I guess he's cool. Whatever. Zoran, I don't even know who that is. They're flipping out. The Republicans are spinning out. The Republicans are giving him the full Barack Obama treatment. They're like, he's going to do a 9/11.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
going to
He's
ruin
got to
New
be
York.
deported, and we'll find a
Yeah.
way.
Mm-hmm. All the rich people in New York are like, oh, I'm going to leave New York. No, you're not. You're not. Shut the fuck up. That's not happening. Everyone's freaking the fuck out because
Wait, the
this.
Fox News, when they broke it down, and somebody was like, it sounds like they're giving all the good reasons, because they were like, God,
Oh, yeah.
he wants to stabilize rent. He wants to give the children free lunch.
No!
He wants to make the city subways safe. And like they were
Terrorist!
like, everyone's like stitching it, and they were like, oh, okay, they're just in our face now.
They're
Like
like,
Fox
he's going
News
to do a
couldn't find
9/11.
anything bad to say about him, so they had to make all the good things sound
just
bad.
compliments.
And they were like,
just
I
like-
think they're running his campaign. Because if I was him, I'd use that for everything.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is Zohran Mamdani.
Because they're not even like trying to lie and be like, no, he actually wants to do this. They're like, no, he wants to stabilize the rent.
And they're just saying the things he is as a slur. They're like, he's a
so
socialist. And everyone's like, yeah, he's a democratic socialist.
Look at him.
We know.
Look at him.
Look at him. I want you to look at him.
So funny.
Oh my God. But so this is opening up everyone's eyes. I mean, it should have already been happening, but everyone's like, oh, wait, grassroots candidates who don't take a shit ton of corporate money, who don't take APAC money, can actually win things. The organization Run for Something, the morning after he won, they said they got 1,100 calls for people that want to start running for local office. The next day, it was 2,200. As of right now, it's 5,000 people.
It's
So
crazy.
th- this is why all the corporate politicians started saying this guy's going to do 9/11 part 2, because they're like, if
They're
everybody
crashing
realizes that
out.
they can start winning races, we're fucked. We're done for. This absolutely cannot happen. So if you want to, hey, reach out to Run for Something, run for something. Let's do it, okay? Because this resistance that we're doing, it's going to take many forms. It's going to hit from any angles. I already see it happening as this, because millennials are done. Gen Z, they're right on our
Done.
tails.
They've been done.
Gen Alpha, they're going to be feral. Everyone's going to start running for shit because we are so fucking done with boomers. Gen X, I'll give you guys some slack because you keep saying it's not us. Like, it's some of you, but so you don't
Yeah.
complain. But we're done with the boomers. We're done with the shit. We're going to fucking flood everything. Local office, run for House, run for Senate. You blitzkrieg them back. Okay, they're flooding the zone. Flood the zone with people that are running for office. They can't beat
Yeah.
all of us.
New York voted for him.
For a
New York.
Muslim. New York voted for a Muslim and they hate 9/11. That's how sick of this shit we are.
Like, if you don't think, like, we are of the people that said maybe it had to happen this way to see the bigger picture. And I truly believe that we had to see our own party's destruction to say, oh,
Well, they're
we
accelerating
Cory
it.
Booker's not saving us. Hakeem? Oh no, we got to do something. We can't. This can never happen again. So what do we have to do? And millennials and Gen Z were like, oh, grassroots candidates. Why? That's been around like this entire time, but for some reason we cracked the code that was like, oh, we're just going to vote for them. And then we're all going to play the part. We're all going to do the thing. And so in New
Uh-huh.
York, they had a mission, and the mission was to go out and vote for him, and
They
everyone
said
did
we're
it.
they
And
said
then
we want
everyone
the
was like, wait, they actually did it. No,
this
decorum.
works.
No, decorum. And we went, fuck decorum. We'll make a new party.
We
Bet we
want a
will.
democratic socialist Muslim man whose middle name is Kwame. And
Try us.
they crashed the fuck out.
And now we're
So
seeing the effects of it, which is we need time. We need time. They're running on a high. And so back to Florida, where the mayoral elections in Miami were just pushed from 2025 to 2026. So that means the same politicians that were about to be done get a whole extra year. Why? Well, they're selling it as saving money. And if they move it to an even year, they'll get a better turnout for voters because voters think that elections only happen on even years, not odd years. But what we know it is that they're all freaking the fuck out. They are freaking the fuck out. And they need time because they got to come up with whatever Marjorie Taylor Greene's trying to do. They need to get on that so that they can try to win their people back over. I'm out here telling you guys, even DeSantis doesn't like this. DeSantis, he can't even run again. He's done. So it's not even to save him, but he's kind of like, that, no. What are you
that's
doing?
not.
That's not it. It's a power grab, but I think, you know, a lot of people have their things about it. Do I think there would be a better voter turnout next year? I think coming off the high of primaries, yes. there'd probably be a better voter turnout to do it next year, but I don't think they're doing it for that reason. I think they need to buy time to come up with their plans as to how they're going to win their people back over and get the approval ratings back up. Because if you vote this year after this bill passes, you're not going to get the votes you want, and they cannot
Nope.
let Florida turn blue anywhere. Anywhere it already isn't. In Miami,
Miami's blue, right?
I mean, parts of Miami is,
Ish.
but we've got the Cubans. Cubans love Trump.
They do.
They do.
I don't know why.
Really, the only like blue is like Central Florida, Orlando, Jacksonville. Those are like
The
Tampa, St. Pete,
cities.
the big cities, yeah.
Yeah.
But everywhere else is very much either kind of blue, leaning red, like Miami, because the outskirts, Cubans, and they love
Come on,
Trump.
y'all. Stop.
So, yeah, that's what's happening in Miami. I do believe this. They are trying to stop this. I do believe there is going to be a legal battle on this. But everything I've looked up and researched makes it seem like it's probably going to get pushed out. Like there'll be legal
the
battles,
Zohran
but it'll
effect.
probably get pushed out because a judge has to decide that there is absolutely no reason to not move it. And I think they'll use, again, money is always a factor. And if they can find a way to make them save money doing this, a judge is going to allow it.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible. It's the Zohran effect. Oh, also real funny because the leftists are starting to turn on each other with Zohran. Some of them are starting to say he's a corporate Democrat, even though that couldn't be further from the truth. Yeah. You're not being serious. Some of you are not serious people.
Some of you
You finally
need
got
to
a
do
guy.
some inner reflection.
You got a guy and you're like, nah, never mind. He's not good enough.
Some of you need to really sit with yourselves and go, do I just want to hate everything? Because
That's pretty
the
much it.
leftists are really turning into like nothing anyone does is good enough unless it comes out of my mouth. And I need you guys to start doing some internal reflection.
Like,
Okay.
you got your guy. Like, we're behind him. Like, let's do it. But now
But
you're like,
apparently you
nah.
guys don't ride or die for him because the second he won the prize, he's not even mayor yet. He just, was primary to run for mayor. And you guys are mad at him because he didn't end the war in Palestine. And I really need you guys to do some inner reflection.
And it's not all of you, obviously.
Not all of you.
But
I'm just saying we're seeing too
ones that
much of it. And
are.
not even with this. We see it on our channel with a lot of people coming after the People's Sick Day. And, just anytime somebody comes up with an idea, they're like, that's not good enough. And I need you guys. I just need you guys to start doing some inner
Something.
work.
Just
Inner
something.
work. Come on.
Just stop. Just stop.
Some bigger fish to fry versus
Seriously.
coming up with the best and most beautiful plan and the perfect person to lead us. You're going to be waiting for a long time. If you're waiting for the right strike, the right politician, the perfect scenario, it's just not going to happen. I hate to break it to you.
It's not happening. This is another example. Robert Garcia being elected as the top Dem on the Oversight Committee. Now, the saga started with AOC. She wanted to throw her hat in there, name in the hat, whatever the saying. Nancy Pelosi absolutely fucked it up for her. Jerry Connolly got elected. He died. Thanks, Nance. Jasmine Crockett was the vice chair on the Oversight Committee. Everyone said, this is a fucking layup. This is a fucking layup. It's right here. This is the rim.
Just take it and
just Just
Put it
put
in
it
the
in.
basket.
Nope. Nope.
They
No. They
said,
said no, 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 no. You
a
have
woman?
ideas? No. They said everyone's so creative. You have ideas? No. That's no, no. We're gonna elect Robert Garcia because we don't care what you guys want. And then this was just like I could just see them saying, "Fine, fine, all right, here, damn, he's an immigrant,
Yeah.
he's part of the LGBTQ community,
What do you guys have to say about
and
that?
he's Hispanic. You gonna complain about this one?" And you know what? We didn't. We said,
We didn't. We gotta
"Okay,
just, we gotta keep it moving.
we
Sorry,
we
Jasmine. She's still our number one. But you know
still
what?
number
She's
one."
gonna get it. She's gonna become the president one day. I already know it. I already know it. I'm speaking it into existence. And I know in that speech, she will read all of you to filth for everything you've done because I know she's keeping the receipts.
For all of
And
your
she's gonna
high
be like,
crimes,
Hakeem, if I
you're
see your
first.
face, it's on site.
Don't come to my inauguration.
Don't come to my
You're not
inauguration.
invited. Yeah, but see, we took it. We took
Mm-hmm.
it. We said, you know what? We got other shit to worry about. Sorry. Sorry, Jazz. We'll address this later. Robert,
Yeah.
do the thing. And if you don't know what the the top Dem on the Oversight Committee does, um, it involves investigating and scrutinizing the actions of the executive branch and other government entities to ensure transparency. So basically, to yell at them every time they commit a crime, which is every day of the week. So he's got a long road. He's got a real long road ahead of him. So,
Mm-hmm.
but we'll take it.
We gotta
Don't let
take
us down.
we gotta take the wins where we can. We know that. They're not the
Yeah,
wins we wanted, but we gotta just take it and keep it moving.
don't hate it.
We did want to touch on, we are not like pop culture, but because this is also political, we are going to touch on the Bezos Sanchez $16 million Venice wedding because a lot of things came out of it. Obviously, they were protested to filth. I mean, the people of Venice were like, you're not coming here to destroy our city that's already got issues over tourism. It's sinking. We've got problems, and you're not going to come here, and you're not going to come here with your lavish freaking champagne pouring into the water and big boats and just stupid shit. You're not doing it. So they protested them to the point where they had to move the location. This is what we're talking about, and it's you guys. We're gonna have to get on their level if we want anything to happen because they were like, I don't care. We're gonna sit here all day, all night. They made figurines of Jeff Bezos drowning in the water. That was so funny. They're so funny. We're not that funny. We need to get on their level
We need to get
or
funnier.
nothing's gonna happen. Yeah, they let them know. They showed up very loud, very clear, and that they said you're not turning our historic city into your billionaire playground for like freaking week. And let's just say the $16 million wedding was the ugliest fucking wedding I've ever seen. I'm not a pop culture person, but guys, you can look at the pictures. It was a hot mess. Obviously, the KK Kardashians were there. Everyone, Oprah was there.
Oprah.
Leo was there, of course. Like everyone
DiCaprio.
you thought was going to be there was there and pretending like nothing bad is happening. And this was the freaking wedding of a century. It wasn't. It was a stupid wedding. It was god awful. I mean, she was wearing cheetah print. I don't get it. In Venice, I don't get it. It just says that like money cannot buy you class. It
That
just
part.
doesn't. And that wedding could have paid for a lot of things. And Jeff Bezos' money could solve world hunger. So, the great thing coming out of this is I know that my For You page is very geared in a specific direction where I wasn't going to get anyone who liked this wedding. But I will say, even news outlets and people reporting on this wedding are all stating the obvious facts, which is like, this was so unnecessary for what's going on, not only in America, but everywhere. It was
Yeah.
not cool to do in this city that's struggling. We have wars, famine, and we have the United States in shambles. This isn't it. And so it's just, we're seeing the turn, the tides turn of like, we don't worship celebrities anymore because we realize they are the ones who feed into this machine. And if they're not outwardly against it and we don't get to see every day how much money they spend on charities and, donate and put their neck out on the line for politics without having to be paid, we don't want it anymore. We don't.
Yep.
Like, I'm sorry, we can't worship the Kardashians. We also can't worship Taylor Swift. We can't worship people like that.
It's
I'm
weird.
sorry. Homegirl's been silent.
They're not saying
She's
anything.
been silent. She's hanging out with freaking Travis Kelce and Nazis. We can't idolize these people anymore. We can't. We have to hold everyone account. Everyone gets to be held accountable. And so we're starting to see it in like major news outlets like People magazine even reported being like, it's a wedding, but like people are dying. And I'm like, People
People are
magazine
dying.
saying that is crazy. They thought they were going to get the royal wedding treatment and they just got like booed to existence. And I'm just proud of us, but I'm especially proud of the people of Venice for like, it's like we say, they did it in France, they do it in Italy, they did it in Australia, they do it in Canada. Why can't we do it here? I'll never know. We're selfish.
We're so selfish.
We're so selfish.
We're so selfish.
But yes, that we don't want to touch on it too much. I'm just wanted to say like, we understand it happened, and one good thing that came out of it was that they were not like idolized like they thought
Thank
they were
God.
going to be. Thank
Thank
God.
God.
But Devin, we're introducing kind of a newer segment. You want to
Yeah.
explain
There's
it?
there's no hot mess index this week because the shit that's about to be bad is didn't happen yet. But people are like spiraling online about things that aren't real. So we're gonna debunk some myths
We're
that we're
debunking.
seeing pop up online. So
It's gonna
first,
be stop fucking spiraling.
this whole sleeper cell thing, it's not a thing. It's not a thing. They did this back in the Iraq War. They said there's going to be a bunch of sleeper cells, and I blame Hollywood because they always have the movies and the shows where they have the transplant from a different country who's like a government official or whatever. They're a spy. They live in that country. They get a phone call, and they say, and it says, the text says, or do it now, and then they're activated, and then they go commit like an act of terrorism, and that's a sleeper cell. So now, after we bombed Iran, the government, who you should not believe right now, said, "Oh, make sure
Sleeper
you watch
cells.
out. Watch out for the sleeper cells. The sleeper cells are coming for you. Make sure you watch out." And everyone's like, "Oh my god, the sleeper cells! What do we do about the sleeper cells?" It is literally rhetoric to make you scared of brown people. That's all it is. It's for you to be like, I don't know who's who, which
I
one's gonna
can't
hurt
trust any.
me.
Yeah.
I can't trust any of them. It's not a thing. Stop it. It's over. Okay? Cut it out. That's done. That's what we got on that. Another one. People are running with a story from one crying girl saying that people that are getting put on deportation flights are getting shoved out of a plane into the ocean. Also, not real. Although I understand why, because we would not put anything past these psychopaths that are in DC right now. So yes, I understand why, but it's not true. I actually spoke to someone who is like part of the military flight watching community, and they have their whole type of different universe that they live in, terms that we don't know, all that shit. They're saying that people are seeing flights because there's decoy planes being flown in between the conflict with Iran, and then they're also seeing those flights turn around. Um, so people are thinking, oh, they're flying right into the ocean. They're turning right around. They're pushing people off of the cargo plane. Also, these cargo planes, the U.S. stopped using them in March because they're too expensive. And if you think about it, everything goes back to money because these people are being trafficked. Like we know with Kilmar, we are paying for them to hold these people, or we're getting paid to give them these people. So they're not going to
Mm-hmm.
waste those resources, which is an absolute insane thing to say out loud. But so, long story less long, people aren't getting pushed into the ocean. But I understand why people are saying
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that.
They're just allowing them to die here.
Yeah, yeah, that's all. They don't need to push them in the ocean for that.
Next one spiraled way too out of control for my liking. There was a headline from Mousetrap News, which is a satire Disney adult website that makes like rage bait headlines. It's like The Onion for Disney. They obviously thought it'd be funny to put out a satire headline saying that Disney announced that MAGA hats were banned from the parks and everyone ran. It's not true. It is not true. And it is scary at this point how fast people are making videos for headline clicks and views. And you really need to take this opportunity to go look at the people who created those videos and figure out if those are where you want to get your up to date information from. Because not only did it take 2 seconds to just go to that website and see that it was fake. Like I made a video and I said during the pandemic, they said Mickey Mouse created COVID. Splash Mountain, when that closed, they made a headline saying that they were moving it to Universal Studios. There, and then they said that they were drug testing every single person that came to Disney. It's not
I remember seeing that one.
true.
I was like, that's.
All
I
of the
saw that and I was
headlines,
like, that's not real.
yeah, it takes 2 seconds to check that website. But also, we know Disney, and if they put out a statement, it would be on all of their social medias, on the website. ABC would have reported it. It would have been headline news. If something like that happened, that would have been like breaking fucking news. It's not. So we need to be careful. Okay? Not true.
Yeah. Another one that's not true. This past week, Al Green brought articles of impeachment to the floor. Uh, this one was rough. We were fighting for our lives in the comments. So 128 Democrats voted no to the impeaching of Donald Trump. That didn't happen. They motioned to table the impeachment because one, they don't have the House or Senate votes to even get impeachment done. So it wouldn't have gone anywhere. And just like any other type of case, like it's a why can't I fucking think of the word? Whatever. They're fucking filing charges against him. They're indicting him, and the Senate would be convicting him. It's an entire case. It's not just well, if everybody says yes, he's gone. Hooray! Like no, it's an entire trial. It wouldn't even go in our favor, and they just said we are going to table this. We did not get to read it yet because AOC went live, broke it down, said the time frame between them actually receiving the articles of impeachment. The Republicans, people have spoken to their reps and said the Republicans forced that vote as soon as that thing popped out because they knew the optics would look bad. They smelled the blood in the water. They said, we're going to get these motherfuckers to vote no. And these motherfuckers are going to spiral out and they're going to say, look, our party betrayed us. And it worked.
Mm-hmm.
The Republicans are playing a completely different game than the Democrats right now. They're
They
playing a
are.
different game with made up rules, and the Democrats are following the rules of the original game. So that's what happened there. They said, we need to review these articles if they're being brought to us. We all 200 of us need to have input and make edits. Hold up, 128 of them said. And the Republican said, gotcha.
There's just every time is missing context. And, you know, when I saw that the articles were only 5 pages long, of course, I went to Devin and was like, are we going to have to make a follow up? Because to say you couldn't read 5 pages is crazy. But then I did more research, and Al Green does this. This isn't the first time that he's brought articles of impeachment against Trump by himself, meaning he didn't work with anyone else on them, which is typically what happens when you're going to do something as big as introduce articles of impeachment. You typically work with other members of the House to help you write it, get legal counsel, do hearings, all the things. He didn't do that. He didn't do any of that. He did this himself. He was a lone wolf. And he even went on into an interview to say, I don't blame that they did this. Like, this was just what I was going to do. And everyone was like, well, he told them he was going to do it. Well, yeah, he told them at some point in the future, I'm going to do it. But he didn't consult with them on what the articles were going to say. And it has to be a smoking gun, or else it gives Republicans a chance to make fun of us and say, wow, they tried to impeach him for this one thing and blah, blah, blah. Like, it just wasn't the smoking gun to completely say democracy has failed and they should have just voted yes to be a unit. No, because at the end of the day, this isn't the thing. This isn't the thing, guys. I know you want the thing. You want the impeachment. I know you do, but this isn't it. We need to focus on primaries. We need to get the red hatters out of the seat so that we control the House and the Senate. And then the only thing we have to worry about is SCOTUS.
Yeah.
But we burn ourselves out by just giving, and the people in our comments were giving up. They were like, fuck this. Like 128 of them, no, we're cooked. I'm never voting again. I'm not doing this. That's what we're screaming at you guys to be like, this isn't the smoking gun though. You guys are going to burn out. You are going to spiral and burn out on shit like this.
You're giving them what they want.
You're giving
This is what they
Republicans what they
want.
want. And
They
yes,
want you
we
to give
all
up.
want him impeached, of course. We want him to be held accountable. We want him in jail. We want him all the things. But we all have to open our eyes and see that, like, SCOTUS just decided this week to let people get deported to countries they don't live in or belong to, never been to. You think they were going to be like, hell yeah, let's impeach him? No. And all the Democrats realize that, and they're trying to stop this big, beautiful bill. And instead, they just had to deal with Al Green going rogue. And they're pissed. And if I were them, I'd probably be pissed too, because I'd be saying, why aren't we putting all of our resources into finding 4 to 6 Republicans to vote no on this bill? You know, to me, it just wasn't the smoking gun. And a lot of you were going really crazy. And we stand by our video 1000%.
Yeah.
You
To
guys,
the
it's
point where
not
you
the
guys were
spiral.
like, midterms aren't happening. It's like,
Yeah, no, it's just crazy. And the same thing, you guys spiraled in our comments on the video I made about birthright citizenship because the Supreme Court ruled not even on birthright citizenship, they ruled on national injunctions. And it's basically telling federal judges that they can't block a ruling for the entire country. They can only block a ruling for a state that has filed a suit against the ruling. So we're using birthright citizenship because it's an amendment. If, say, Massachusetts immediately filed a suit when Trump did the executive order saying he wants to end birthright citizenship. They filed a lawsuit because it's obviously against the birthright citizenship. I believe it's the 15th Amendment. Off the top of my head, I'm sorry, I don't have it right in front of me.
14th.
I think it's the 15th or 14th. So they filed a lawsuit saying, unconstitutional. So that means what they're saying is a federal judge could block a ruling for a case in Massachusetts because they filed a lawsuit. So they're not enforcing that executive order. What they are saying is that a federal judge can't block it in Florida, which as of right now has not filed a lawsuit against that executive order. So they can't make Florida not enforce it or enforce it. They can't do anything, is what they're saying. So everyone was like, birthright citizenship's done. And then they weren't talking about the fact that this doesn't apply to everyone. This only will apply after 30 days to new babies born. It's still not good. I'm just saying, like, what happens is that everyone takes a headline and then just spirals. And then people like us will do the research, come with the facts and videos, and then everyone gets upset because we did the research and we're telling you not to spiral and you don't want to believe us. But you want to believe somebody that just wanted to be the first one to post about it and had no information and came on here and said the Constitution's broken. No, because the Supreme Court didn't decide it was constitutional. They didn't even decide if it was legal. That is a completely separate issue that's going through a legal battle. All they did was tell federal judges, they pretty much put this into the states.
Yep.
They gave it to the states, and they said the federal judges are going to have to determine based on if the state has filed a lawsuit on any order
Yep. States'
that
rights.
Don Area has given. If you don't like his executive order, you have to file a lawsuit. That's basically what they're saying. If you don't like his executive order, file a lawsuit and then you don't have to enforce it. It's not the best way, but it's where we're at right now. But that doesn't mean that all of his executive orders have to be followed.
No.
They don't.
It sets a bad precedent, but it's not.
It does. And again, we know nothing should be up to states, especially the Constitution shouldn't be up to the states. It should all be federally blocked. Any attempt to go against the Constitution should be a federal block. But unfortunately, again, House, Senate, SCOTUS, all MAGA. So therefore, we have to like get creative in our fight. And this is where they're being creative, is saying, okay, each state, handle it yourself. Handle it yourself. So what you're going to see is you're going to see a lot of people start flocking to blue states in the meantime, because that's where people are going to feel the most safe. Not everyone has the means to flock, so don't get in people's comments and be like, just go to a blue state. It's not that easy to pack up your life and move to a blue state. It's also, blue states are usually the big states like California, Massachusetts, New York, that are more expensive to live in.
Yep.
And harder to get jobs in. So just think about that kind of stuff too. Don't just like tell everyone to move, and don't expect that everyone can move. The amount of people who are yelling at me because I live in Florida, you think I want to be here? I'm just saying, you know? But let's end with, yes, that really did happen. We had some fun ones this week. We kind of started off the week strong because somebody sat behind Matt Gaetz on a plane ride right after the whole Iran ceasefire, and they caught him rereading his text messages with his mom talking about Iran, where his mom was like, don't upset Trump, don't say anything, stop talking, Matt, stop talking out against him. And he was like, he needs to listen to us, he will listen to us. And she was like, don't push his buttons because it doesn't look good for you. And it was so funny. It was so funny.
Pathetic.
This is how, like, in their own world they are, that this girl was able to, like, get the screen recording of his text, like, so close up without him realizing it.
It's so zoomed in.
So funny. So, yes, he was arguing with his mom, and his mom was telling him to shut the fuck up and be nice to the Trumpies. Next, we have Tom Homan, who is the border czar. He has spent his whole life being ICE. He did an interview where he was shedding some tears because his wife and his children don't live with him anymore. And he doesn't get to see them. And you want to know who he blamed? Us, of course.
Those damn
because
Democrats.
We're giving him death threats. So now he's separated from his family and he's probably going to get divorced and he's crying. And I say to that is that you love separating families. So it's so funny. Like, you're a Nazi.
You're a Nazi, bro. We don't care.
You're a racist Nazi. Would
Like,
you look
sucks
at
to
that?
suck.
Oh man, but yeah, he was shedding those tears. Um,
So good. So
next,
good.
we have Trump saying that the Democrats are the ones who leaked the bomb information for Iran. But I digress that you True Socialed it. Not once, not twice, 3 times.
and, and they bragged about not briefing the Democrats on it. They were like, yeah, we didn't tell those losers shit.
They're like, we just have to blame them for everything this week. Every single fucking thing. Don't give any proof. Don't give any reasoning. Just blame them. Okay, Tom, blame them for your divorce. Okay? Blame them for Iran. Blame them for freaking everything.
Oh,
Everything they freaking do.
the congresswoman in Florida.
Oh, the congresswoman in Florida. I
She just
almost
said it's the
died
Democrats'
because of my
fault.
ectopic pregnancy and Florida wouldn't treat me. That's the Dems' fault because of the fear mongering. Just blame them. Don't give any reasoning. That's so funny.
And
And
MAGA's
next,
like, yo.
oh yeah, fucking course. Next, JD's still trying to win us over, guys. He's still trying. So he was speaking again somewhere. They keep inviting him to talk at things. And he threw up the middle finger to show everyone how awesome and cool he is because he said that that's what the people with purple hair love to do. They love to.
The purple haired ladies,
So,
they like to do this.
and he said that that's a thumbs up. And then the funniest part of it is the same thing as the last time. The interns are not adding that roaring laughter or roaring applause. So he did that and he was like, I would say that's a thumbs up. And then nobody laughed. Just like he was like, guys, stop clapping so hard for me. And it was, crowd goes mild. They forgot to add the roaring laughter on that one. So to that intern, I love you.
You're doing great.
You're doing great. You're doing amazing, sweetie. And last but not least, we talked about this earlier, but it was obviously Trump posting, Iran, do not drop those bombs. You do a little wave and you turn that plane around and you park it. You do a little flyover. You don't drop those bombs. Do not drop those bombs.
Wait, it was them or was it Israel? It was Netanyahu.
It was Israel, yes. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm saying Iran. No, Israel. Yeah, and he didn't bring up Nettie, but he said, Israel, do not drop those bombs. You're going to fly over, you're going to do a little wave, and you're going to fly on home. And I just want us to remember about a month ago or change when he said, Vladdy, stop. Stop. And he didn't stop. So when did he didn't, why did he think that he would tell Neti Pot to stop and it would work when he told Putin to stop and it didn't work? They're
Everybody
laughing in his
him.
face. They're laughing in his face. He's getting on True Social. Like, have you ever just picked up the phone and called them? No. He's like, I had a fucking ceasefire. I True Socialed it. And what are you guys doing? My approval ratings. He was crashing out. That's why he swore. So he's like, they don't know what the...
You guys are making me look like a liar. I told everyone there's a ceasefire.
This is True Social, not Lie Social.
Bibi, stop. Stop it.
They're and then he was like, they're not. They're doing a little flyover. They're doing a flyover. You're just flying over. They're not dropping bombs, right? Guys, if you're on TikTok, you have to watch this guy who he puts himself in slow-mo.
Oh, Rayon.
Rayon. You have to watch his videos where he just pretends he's Trump, but everything's in slow-mo. It's so funny.
Why ain't anybody listening to me?
And he's like, I just want to be a little racist.
I didn't sign up for all this.
Everybody's dropping bombs.
You think they gonna strike back? When I see his videos, I watch it like 12 times straight. I'm like, done, swipe up, swipe right.
I engage fully. He's so funny.
All
It's
the
so
buttons.
funny. All the buttons. If you're not following him, you need to. It's so funny. Everything he has to do is in slow
Raeon.
mo. I don't make the
Oh
rules.
my
It's so funny. I
god. He kills me.
ran. We was just having fun. It was so funny. But that is our episode for the week. Just the two of us. And again, Political Tarot is probably going to be on TikTok and Substack in the next couple days. So be sure to look out for that. And look out for us tomorrow. We'll post either way on what happens with the bill, and trust that we will deal with it in whatever way we need to. We will get through
Yeah.
this. Okay? But
We'll
please
have
don't
the action
spiral.
items.
Our leading or our, ending of the podcast today is just going to tell you to take a deep fucking breath and stop fucking spiraling, because we don't have time. Just dry heave in the back seat, but we need you on board. We need you on board the train. You guys cannot go down Loopyville. Okay,
No,
we're not doing that here. Okay? No.
Too
Take
many
a deep
people on
breath.
Loopyville right now.
Make sure you're following us on our socials, TikTok, Substack. We are on Blue Sky. Follow us there. Make sure you're following us here on Spotify. If you're not on Spotify and you're participating in Mayday Disruption, you can watch us on YouTube and on Substack. Make sure you're following all the things and engaging. And thank you guys so much for 10K on TikTok.
Hey.
10K. My birthday wish. And it came true. So thank you guys so much. And we hope to just keep pushing out truthful, factual, researched, and easy to digest content that won't make you spiral. Because that's what we do here. We don't just want to complain.
We will crash out for you.
We'll crash out for you and then talk ourselves off and then do the research and then post.
Yeah. After I'm done like screaming and that.
Yes. But trust that the group chat is definitely like, are we freaking out or no?
Just
all three of us are figuring it out, and then we're like, okay.
Everyone's just asking each other, are we freaking out?
Are we freaking out? No? Okay,
Until
let me just do my research.
No.
Everybody pick an article, go read it, and come back, and let's discuss. And then somebody post a video.
I think we're all not going to die. All right.
Post the video. That's kind of how it was. But we love what we're doing, and we thank you guys for supporting us. 10K is amazing. Never thought we'd see that. But here we are, and it's great. So thank you guys, and we will see you next week, and Kitty will be back.
Yup. All right.
Bye.
Peace.